This video is aimed to support anyone who is developing training content for a blended learning concept. Starting with the question, why do we need learning objectives and how to apply Bloom's taxonomy? Before getting into the details, I want to show you the importance of learning objectives by asking this little teaser question. Do you know how to drive a car? Depending on the person you ask, you will get a lot of different answers. The schoolgirl derives her answer from observation. The older driver bases his answer on many years of driving experience. The mechanic knows the insides of a car, and of course the policeman is looking at this question from a safety point of view. The burning question is, whose answer is right? Well, you may have guessed it. It's all and it's none of them at the same time. But why? Because we did not define the level of knowledge, neither did we give any criteria what measure the correctness of the answers against. Learning objectives are essential to help the trainer to measure quality, correctness of the learner's response to a question or task. Let's have a quick look into the process of writing learning objectives. In the training, you start with a goal. For example, the trainer needs to ensure that the learners adhere to the 5 safety rules. The question is how? The answer is by providing appropriate training and practical exercises to demonstrate their knowledge. And how can we be sure that they have learned it? By creating learning experience, tests, or assessments, using criteria where to measure them by. So basically, what does it look like if the learner knows or has reached the learning goal? And this is the foundation for your learning objectives. Now, what does it look like in practice? You will often see Bloom's taxonomy depicted in the form of a pyramid, simply because each level of thinking builds upon the previous. You can start higher, but you cannot skip a level. The lowest level of thinking is remembering. The highest is to create something. And each level comes with a set of typical verbs to be used. For example, if the learning objective is simply to remember facts, then you should use verbs such as name or list. If you want to find out if the learner can apply certain knowledge, use verbs such as demonstrate or organize. Maybe you remember this diagram from what blended learning is, an overlap of digital and human-led learning. The overlap is level 3, applying in Bloom's, where the digital learning stops, the human-led learning picks up upon. This is important because, as you can derive from this diagram, the learning objective has an impact on the delivery method or type of exercise. I hope this example of the 5 safety rule makes it a bit clearer. By now you should know that a learning objective cannot be knowing the 5 safety rules. Instead, you can see here how the learning objective can be defined based on the level of knowledge or skill the learner must obtain. Do we just need the learner to remember? Or do we need them to be able to identify breaches of the 5 safety rules based on a given scenario? As indicated before, the webinars or face-to-face learnings begin where the e-learning stops.